So I think it's a really exciting time in lymphoma for cellular therapy. We haven't really had any type of cellular therapy working well in this disease setting before. For patients with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma who relapse, the standard of care is an autologous stem cell transplant. But transplants only work for patients who still have chemosensitive disease. For those who don't have chemosensitive disease, or those who relapse after a previous autologous transplant, there's really no standard of care whatsoever. And the concept, of course, that people could use their own immune system to tackle their cancers then becomes a very attractive one. I think if going back a few years, we could have thought that the diseases in which CAR T cells would really work would be acute lymphoblastic leukemia and aggressive lymphomas. I think many of us find that quite surprising, that it's the more aggressive diseases that are responding. A lot of us thought it would be the more slow-growing types of cancers. But for whatever reason, these cells appear very sensitive to killing by the CAR T cells. The whole concept then is how do we bring this forward? There are now some clinical trials which are starting, randomizing patients to receive an autologous transplant or a CAR T cell, asking the question, where in the therapy does a CAR T cell fit? As I've already mentioned, right now it's for people who've already failed. The question now is, if we do it earlier and we do it in patients who could have had an autologous transplant, does it become the alternative? And that trial, of course, is just starting, and we'll see how it goes. Like every other type of therapy we're excited about, when you see such high responses, and we're talking 30, 40% very long-term remissions in this very refractory patient population, when you see these sorts of responses in very refractory patients, you can only believe that if you could move it forward to an earlier time in their disease, and at a time when somebody has less disease on board, the results are going to be even more impressive. So I think this is a really exciting time.